Hello, it is a pleasure for me to come your way once again with our online pregnancy school. For those of us who are joining for the first time, this is a place where we talk about the family. We talk about pregnancy, we talk about reproduction, we talk about the child. We look at what we can do to help us to go through pregnancy successfully and also take good care of our children. I say that pregnancy should be a time of joy and not anxiety or fear. But there are many questions about pregnancy. Will my child be normal? Why is it that I don't feel my baby moving so much? Why is it that I was told I would deliver on this date, but I have not delivered? So there are many questions that people have about pregnancy and childbirth. And that is why we bring you the online pregnancy school. My name is Dr. Linda Vanutu, and we have been bringing you the sessions for a very long time. I hope that you have been learning a lot and also sharing with friends and family. That is very important for me because I get a lot of questions. Some of the questions are topics that we have treated in the past. So I encourage you to check them out. Go to my YouTube page, Dr. Linda Vanutu, and check them out. And remember to subscribe and also hit that notification bell so that anytime we are coming up with a new topic, you will be duly informed. Also on Facebook, follow us, like our page, send us messages, The Pregnancy School. So on YouTube, The Pregnancy School with Dr. Linda Vanutu, and on Facebook, The Pregnancy School. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, everywhere, so that we learn a lot about pregnancy and child care. Around the world, a lot of women lose their lives, thousands of them, because of pregnancy and related complications. But you know, the unfortunate thing is that a lot of these deaths are preventable. And we have millions of babies also born dead. Millions die within the first month of life. And we have many more dying in the first year. So if we know what to look for and what to do, we will be able to help reduce some of these preventable maternal and newborn deaths. And that is the mission. So join me and my team as we go through these sessions on pregnancy, delivery, childcare, and in fact, the whole family health. Also, another thing that we have, which we bring to our cherished clients, is about those who unfortunately lose pregnancies, either through miscarriages or when the babies are born, but they do not survive. So send us a message, get in touch with us, and let us offer you that needed care so that you can put your mind to rest and prepare for your next pregnancy. Or if you don't want to have any more children, then you can take care of the others, because some people think that it is their fault that the babies did not survive. Others feel ashamed. Some of them feel neglected, and some are treated unfairly because people don't understand what happened. So get in touch with us and we'll be happy to interact with you. Today, I'm going to continue with a session on child development. You see, it is very important to know what to look for in your child, because some people have, unfortunately, recognized delays in their children rather late. And that means that the treatment was also started late. So whatever would have been beneficial to this child is delayed. And therefore, the child will not get every benefit that he or she needs to get from the treatment that the doctor or the caregiver gives to this child. So we want to know what we should look for. We have already had a session on the first 6 months of life. And today I'm going to focus my attention on 6 months to 1 year. What should we be looking for? Now, I want you to understand that children or individuals are different, and therefore they will not show the same things at the same time. If you take 100 children, maybe 75 of them will behave in the way that people know that children of particular ages behave. But the others may do that earlier or later. So it's important to appreciate that fact, and also to know that you have to be looking at the child and noting what this child can do or cannot do. You can only do that if you know what to expect. And that is why we are bringing you these sessions. And also to appreciate the fact that however these children are brought up, the experiences they go through affect their lives as they grow. So whatever happens to this baby, even while the baby is in the mother's womb, to the time that the baby is born, to the time that the child grows, affects the child's growth and development. So it is very important to note that, which means that parents have a big role to play in ensuring that these children grow and develop well. So if you are a parent listening to me, please note that you have a role to play in your child's growth and development. Now, what they go through in their childhood days are very important because these things affect them as they grow. And if you go back to some of the sessions that we had previously, we said that for some of them, what happened even inside the womb, when the baby is in the mother's womb, can affect this child's life, the rest of the child's life in adulthood. When this child has grown, the child did not even know that this happened, but the child felt it, and the effects can stay with the child for the rest of the child's life. So please note that. So when you have your child and you say, you are always saying things about this child in the negative sense, then you are affecting this child's future life. Please note that. So you have to watch your child, know how this child is growing and developing. And growing in the sense that, is my child gaining weight? Is my child growing tall? Is my child too short for the age compared to other children that I know? Is my child too slim for this? Or my child is too big for that age? So all these things are things that we have to take note of as parents or as people who take care of children. Now, when the child is growing, the child goes through stages, and we call them the milestones, which means that at any point in time, there are things that this child should be able to do, and these are called the milestones. And they are to do with the motor system, that is walking and all those things. And they're also to do with fine skills, fine motor skills, the language, and then their thinking and their social behavior. All these things are very, very important. So if you take the gross motor skills that they have to acquire, these are what you can see. Everybody can see that this child is crawling or walking or is involved in some kind of movement. Those are the gross ones. But when you come to the fine ones, they're talking about the ones that are done in a very gentle manner. For example, you put things there and this child is able to put them together. You put some blocks there. Sometimes we give children these things to play with, and they try to put them together using the fine movement of their hands. So those are the things that we are talking about, or even things that they use their hands for. You can see a child drawing or trying to do something, moving the hands, the feet, and the ankle. So those are not the walking, but they are things that they can also do with their hands and their feet. So those are the fine ones. Now we also have the language skills, and these are to do with the speech and also their understanding of what you say. All these are important, and you as a caregiver, as a mother, as a father, as somebody taking care of a child, you need to be looking at these things. So when you're talking to the child, do you perceive that this child is listening to you? Can the child understand what you are saying and respond appropriately? All these are important things that we have to be looking for. Now, at this time, the child is also able to move. So when you put the child on the back, the child can roll over. If you put the child on the tummy, the child can roll over. And I have already said that please, at this stage, when this child is 6 months onwards, please be careful where you put the child. You may say that my child is asleep, so I'm leaving the child on the bed unattended. That is dangerous, because when this child wakes up, the child can roll over and fall down. And it will not be good if this child hits the head or whatever part of the body. The child can be injured in that sense. So please make sure that when you are taking care of children and they are at this stage, I'm talking about 6 months to 1 year, you keep an eye on them. Now, when the child is young, even before 6 months, it's important that you talk to this child using his or her name. So mention the child's name so that this child will appreciate that this is my name. And by the age of 7 months, you see that when you call this child, the child will tend to look at you because the child knows that this is my name. And in the same vein, when you are teaching this child about things, you point out to that thing, you mention that thing's name so that this child can learn. This will help you to note whether the child can hear you, can understand what you are saying, and can also repeat what you are saying. Because we are looking at finding things that are not normal as quickly as possible so that we can report to the hospital for treatment. Now, at this age, between 6 months to 1 year, we are talking about that period and what the child can do. By this time, the child should be able to wave. In fact, some of the children even start earlier, before 6 months. When you say bye, they can wave and they can also do the same. But at least from 6 months onwards, they can understand, they can repeat what you are doing. So you wave at this child, I'm going bye, and the child would also wave. Even though the child may not say the word bye, the child would also wave at you. And the child would now start saying a few words and can combine some of them. So from 6 months going 7 months thereabouts, they say me, the child can repeat after you. So it's important that we engage the children as early as possible. And the child can also imitate people. So when you laugh, the child can laugh. When you smile, the child can smile. When you squeeze your face, the child can also squeeze the face. So the child will be learning, and that will help you to note that this child understands what you are doing and what you are saying. Because we want to pick up all the things that are not normal for the child's age so that we can seek care for this child. Now, some people find that their children crawl early. The children crawl early, but for a lot of them, at least by the age of 8 months to 9 months, they would have crawled. But if your child doesn't crawl, please don't let that be a worry to you. Once the muscles are okay, they look at the child and there's nothing wrong. Some people, they crawl for only a day or two and you find that they stand up. Others, we are told that they don't even crawl. They just all of a sudden stand up from the sitting position. But by this time, children can sit unsupported. From 7 months thereabout, the children can sit unsupported. But please, please, please be careful. Watch your child. See whether this child can sit all by himself or herself without any support. If you are not sure, we have a way of putting soft things around this child if the child is sitting, so that if it happens that the child goes to the side, the child will not hit the head on the floor. So it is very important that we take note of what the child can do. Now, by the age of the 9 months, the child can also be saying words. In fact, some of them even say those words earlier, mama, dada. So it's important to teach them to speak, so you know whether they can hear you or they cannot hear you. So by this time, a lot of the children, remember I said that we are talking about what a lot of them can do within this period. Some of them start early, others start later. But then for a lot of them, by the time they are 9 months old, they are already saying mama, dada. And please point to the man as dada, point to the mother as mama, so that the child can link the name to the person. It is important that we do this. Now, when this child is about 1 year old, a lot of the children would have started walking by that time. Some of them do not walk till later, between 1 to 2 years. That is when they start walking. But some of them would also even walk around 11 months or 12 months. Some of them are early, others are late. So please be watching out. And the child at this time can say more than 2 words. So you can, I am going, and you let the child repeat. So please teach the child what to do. Ladies and gentlemen, today I am talking about the development of this child from 6 months to 1 year, and what we should be looking out for so that we can pick up the delayed ones and report to the hospital for proper assessment, and then treatment can start. So what are some of the things that you have to be looking out for in a child who is between 6 months to 1 year? By 6 months, this child should be able to sit with the head on, like an adult is supporting the head on the neck. Now, if you find that the child is weak, the head cannot stay on the neck is not able to support the head moves to the side or goes to the back, then you must quickly take the child to the hospital for assessment. If you find that the child is not able to sit all by himself or herself by the age of 6 months, and this child falls down, then that is also a cause for worry. But if you were watching this child right from birth to 3 months, to 4 months, to 5 months, to 6 months, you would have observed that this child is a bit weak. The other day I said that for some people, when they see that the head is not being supported very well, they put a thread around the child's neck and say that this will help the neck to be strong to carry the head. But please, whatever you do, send this child to the hospital so that they can also check the child up for you. Now, you must also be watching whether the child is saying anything. I said that by this time, the child should be able to repeat at least mama, dada, and respond to his or her name. So if you find that the child is not able to do that, then you know that there might be a delay. It is better to send the child to the hospital. Now, the other thing you have to be looking out for is whether the child is able to put things together. I said that by this time they try to perform some tasks because we are checking for the fine motor skills, we are checking for the gross motor skills. The walking you can see, but some of the fine things that they can use their hands for, you have to check whether your child is able to do that or not. Because you see, if you don't check, then you will not be able to send this child to the hospital if there's the need for you to do that. And then also the fact that when the child stands, you want to look at the way the child stands. As a little child who is about 11 months trying to stand, the child will hold on to something to stand. And the child cannot stand for maybe 1 hour. So if the child is able to stand briefly and sit down, that is fine. But you watch this child and see how the child progresses through the days. And if you find anything that is wrong, please, it is time to take this child to the hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are continuing with our discussion on child development. How should these children be behaving between the age of 6 months to 1 year? What are some of the things that we as parents or caregivers must be aware of? And you can start from head to toe and see what is happening to this child. At 6 months, even before 6 months, how is the head on the neck? Is the neck able to hold the head? Is the head able to balance on the neck, or it cannot do that? That is an area that you have to look out for. When you look at the ears, the child should be able to hear when you say something. Is the child able to repeat words after you? Mama, does the child do that? Dada, does the child say that? So if the child is able to repeat words after you, then you know that this child can hear. If you say it, the child looks at you, the child is not saying anything, then you are not sure whether the child can hear or cannot hear, and whether there's a problem with the language, with the voice, with the speech. You are not sure about that. But if at 1 year the child is not saying anything, you talk to the child, you are not sure whether the child can hear you, something falls down, the child doesn't turn, or you call the child's name, the child doesn't respond, somebody screams, the child is just sitting, then you can probably say that this child might not be hearing me. And because there are ways of testing this, it will be important for you to send the child to the professional, for that professional to look at this child and assess appropriately, for them to say whether the child is okay or not. Now, when you go to the hospital and you say that, I think my child has a delay, what is done for that child? There are several things that will be done. First of all, they do a general assessment of the child to see whether everything is okay or the child needs help with any of the systems. And they may also do a lab test to find out whether internally everything is okay or there is something that is contributing to the child's delay. So that can be done for you. Then, of course, they test the various systems. Like I said, it might be because the child cannot hear. So they will test the child's hearing. They will test other things, which you cannot do at home. So it's better to send this child for that kind of assessment. So they will do that. And then they will plan a treatment for this child. For example, if they find that this child needs better nutrition, or the child needs something with the ear, maybe there's an infection or something, anything that is found, or it is found that the child truly has delayed development, then a plan is put together based on what they find. And that is the plan that you and the healthcare provider will go through to assist this child to live a better life, or a life that is meaningful to this child. Now, there are services that are available for speech. There are services that are available for things that the child needs to do to help the child to do them. And then also for testing whether the child can hear or cannot hear. There are different things that can be done to make this child, as the child grows up, independent. We don't want a situation where this person would grow up and be dependent on someone, because it would be very, very difficult for the caregiver to always stay with the child, unless, of course, it is a situation that nothing can be done about that. But even then, we can pray, right? So we look at what the child needs, and that is what the healthcare provider will do for you. So the important thing is, what can the family do when a child is found to have a delay? One of the things is that you have to be observing the child. With all the things that I've said, between 6 months to 1 year, what these children do, you have to observe your child to know that my child is not doing A or B or C, and I must seek help. And that will help you to seek help early, because that is what we want to do. Because once the diagnosis is made early, the plan is put together early, treatment starts early, and chances are that the quality of life for this particular person would be better. You also have to take note of your child's behavior, the feedback, and then talking in response to someone talking to him or her. All these observations that you have to make at home, so that we know whether this child is developing normally or there is a delay. So that is very, very important. And when you have found anything wrong, please do not stay at home. I say this all the time, don't stay at home, go to the hospital. Now, when you go, what are you going to say? So it's important that as you observe your child, you also document what you find. My child is 6 months old, cannot sit unsupported. My child is 9 months old, cannot sit. When my child sits, the head is not balanced. When I speak to my child, I don't think that my child hears. So you have to be specific in what you are going to tell the healthcare provider. Yes, when you get there, they will test, but it will be good for you to give them a history, something about what you have observed at home, because you are staying with this child at home. It is very important. For those who probably have seen other children or have had children before, they would be able to pick some of these things up early. But for those who have their first children, it may not be something that they can easily recognize. And that is why we are bringing you this program, so that you take a look at your child right from birth. I have discussed right from birth what you should look for, and send the child for assessment if you find something wrong. Please go back and listen to all those videos. They are very, very important, because some of the children's lives could have been better. The quality of life could have been better if they had been taken to the hospital early. Now, once you have gone to the hospital and a diagnosis has been made and a plan put together for you, please, as a parent, as a caregiver, stick to the appointment. We know that it is difficult. It's difficult to be sending one child to the hospital all the time. But you see, once they are able to go through the plan and they become independent, then you are also free from always being there to do things for them. So it's a plan for not just the child, but also for you as the mother. So please be part of the treatment plan. Now, when this child is at home and the child is able to do something that previously he or she could not do, that is the time to praise this child. Let's say that you have tried very hard and now you get the child to say, Mama, Dada. That is a time to clap for this child, because the child has moved on. It is important to do that. It can be frustrating, it can be challenging for the parent or for whoever is taking care of a child like this. But you can also get help if you are overwhelmed by what you are going through. Please do not stay with that and continue crying and mourning and all that. Just seek help for yourself. When you go to the hospital with the child, let them be aware that, you know what, I'm also going through so much. And they will have a way of helping you to cope better with what you are going through. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we looked at the child from 6 months to 1 year. And I wanted to just draw your attention to the fact that you need to observe the child as the child grows. Is the child doing anything, or the child is not doing anything? And if the child is doing something, how do you see it? Is it normal? Is it not normal? So that you go to the hospital as quickly as possible. There are centers around that take care of children who have delayed development, and they help you, they work with you, they plan with you and fit into your plan, such that you have time for your child and you have time for yourself as well. So if you have any questions on what we have discussed today, please send me a message. You can send me a message, YouTube or Facebook, on my page, and I'll be happy to respond to you. For those who have been sending us a lot of questions, we are very grateful. And for some of you, I've already responded to the questions, but for others, we haven't responded to you yet. We are doing it gradually. But let me just also draw your attention to the fact that we have services that you can also sign up for, so that whatever your need, we can get you someone who can address that need for you. So send me a message. You have a phone number down there. Send me a WhatsApp message and we will respond to you as soon as we can. I hope you have enjoyed today's session. Please share with others. Copy that link and share with others so that they know what to do. It will be good for all of us that our children grow and develop very well. Once again, my name is Dr. Linda Van. See you in my next video. Bye for now.